Project Motus Racing, the game with probably the worst launch imaginable out of all games, maybe apart from Rennsport. Many people have covered just how bad this title is. 2.0 run-up, which I would completely agree with. Terrible handling. Pretty much everything when this game launched was terrible. The UI was terrible, the handling was terrible. And now 2.0 launch is here. And you would think it's a new start for this game. But I believe this game will be dead by the end of the year simply for one big reason. And this reason, some people have touched on it, but this is the main reason that this game was never going to succeed and never will. Especially for what they said they were going to. They was basically making out this game, well, Ian Bell, this game was an iRacing killer. And it could never be an iRacing killer simply for this reason. No matter how well the cars handled, they were never going to get the numbers. Because of the reason I'm going to cover in this video. Stick around and you'll find out why I believe this game was destined to fail no matter what state it arrived in with this one issue, which I don't think can be fixed. Let's get into it. This game has had so many issues since it's been released, as we already know, at the end of November. And they were all kind of like terrible. The cars just didn't handle. There's issues with the tyres and stuff like that. But there's one big issue which is over them all. And I feel that it's this issue that's going to keep this game being dead, because it's absolutely nothing that can be done to change it, because I don't think the engine is capable. Now what we need to think about is where the engine comes from. Where does the engine come from? Is obviously it's a farming simulator engine, and for farming simulator this engine works flawlessly, pretty much. It's a slow-paced game, and as a slow-paced game, it really doesn't matter how optimized it is, because 30 frames is fine. But that is the big issue for this game. Project Motor Racing is not farming simulator, and it needs optimization. But I don't think the engine, the Giants engine, is capable of running high frame rates. Yes, here we're watching the gameplay. It's currently running at 56 frames per second, and it's kind of like stuttering. Now I could turn the graphics down. It wouldn't have an effect. It might gain 2 frames because it's so processor heavy, and it's not really running the graphic card 100%. Now this PC is running it right now. It isn't the most powerful PC. It's running an i7 Intel Core i7, and I think it's the 7800. So it's quite old. No, it's the 8700. I'm sorry, 8700, and it's running an RTX 2060. Nothing spectacular, but this is the issue. They came out and said, well, Ian Bell specifically, that this game was going to compete with iRacing. And that's the biggest issue here. It could never compete with iRacing, because for it to be able to compete with iRacing, it needed to run like iRacing. iRacing pretty much will run on any PC. It will run on PCs lower down than this PC, and that's where the player base comes from. Now, I don't think it's a secret that prices of PCs are absolutely extortionate. Even consoles are going higher. And this game doesn't run particularly well on a console, so I believe. I've never played it on a console, but judging by people who've reviewed this game, it does not run well. It might run better now with 2.0, but still, consoles are as powerful as they're going to get, at least at this point in time. And PCs are so expensive, especially when it comes to RAM. Now apparently it's stabilising, but it's still so expensive. People just can't afford upgrading. But this game, currently running at 54 frames, if you look up the top, 40 frames, look at that, 57 frames, and it crashed to 40 frames because of the AI. Just the processor cannot keep up with this game, and it doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't actually look particularly well. It's quite bad. It's very cartoony, I think. I would go as far to say its race room after its update, at least on lower down PCs, because you can run it higher, looks better than this game, and I get 144 frames, what my monitor can handle, from on race room. Whereas here, and when you go to the next track, you'll see it's even worse. It's jumping. Yes, it hits 60 frames, which is I don't mind playing at 60 frames. So let's get that straight. But the fact it can go down to 30 frames and jump up to 60, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to cap it at 30 frames and hope that's enough? Which is just not for a racing game. It is for Farming Simulator again. And this game looks like Farming Simulator in many ways. It's not a brilliant looking game, it's not necessarily a bad looking game, but it's just not enough for how much it's using. And to be an iRacing killer, it has to be released. Well, it has to be capable of being played, I should say, on many PCs. Now I know you can get it on console and technically it's running, and even if it runs, average or well, that's a good thing. But more and more people have PCs, but not everyone has a high powered PC. So to make it compete with iRacing, it needs to be able to have optimization for those lower down PCs, so people can actually play this game. They can come in, play it, and have a decent time. But I don't think the engine's capable, because, so as I recorded this is now the 2.0.2 release, and one of the biggest things they said is optimization. And on my PC, at least, again, 16 gigabytes of RAM, an i7 8700, and an RTX 2060. It does not run well. There's no difference, absolutely no difference from this game, from the 1.6 release to now. I would go as far to say, I actually think this game ran better on the 1.0 release. It wasn't better to play, but I believe it actually ran smoother on my PC. But it still wasn't enough then, so I'm just led to believe they can't fix it. And that's going to kill this game more than anything else. Yes, even to this day, this game is not a realistic racing game. This is a GT3 cars. Look at the wobble of the car from side to side, the lean of the car. It might be a setup issue, but then surely they would have decent setups to begin with. And then you've got the other annoyances that people, so it has to go to casual players to get the player base up. They need casual players in. But why do they have, so they should have like a setup for force feedback for all cars, a base thing, and you can tweak it per car, that's fair enough, but it should have a setup which at least feels decent. You shouldn't have to get in another car and go, okay, I'm going to have to adjust this or that and that to get this car to feel good. And by the way, I have still not got a car in this game to feel what I would say is good. I don't actually mind the gameplay. I've just got it in my head now. It's not realistic, but that's not a bad thing. Gran Turismo 7 isn't realistic, but has a massive player base. This game can't get that player base because of all the other issues, and especially the optimization issue. Because if you look at Gran Turismo 7, it looked good on a PS4. It looked better, I would say, on the PS4 than this game looks on my PC. And my PC is way higher powered than a PS4. And it can play things, better graphics, than my PS4 can play. But not this. And that's why this engine is just not good enough. People are not going to pay £40, £50 for this game. People tried it when it was free and it's crashed. I don't know what it is on consoles, I don't really give out the players, but when you look at the Steam ratings, I think yesterday it was down to 100 players at one point. How can you play online with 100 players? It's just not every single one of those players are going to be wanted to play online. Never mind like iRacing, there's so many races going on, there's so many options in one go. We'll not get into that iRacing costs and that, but they do that well. They work on pretty much every PC. You look at Automobilista 2, using Project Cars 2 engine, the predecessor to this game. And it looks, at least on low-down PCs, it looks 10 times better than this game. And it's running at 140 frames again. So, they've had, from November to now, we're now in April. They've had 5 months to optimise this game, and on lower down PCs like mine, it doesn't, I think it's got worse. I think there was more frames when this came out, so I think its peak is when it came out. I don't know what they've changed, apart from, they did change the lighting, of course, to this game. Whether or not it had an effect on the graphics, I don't think so, because I'm sure I played it at 1.6 before. I think it was before they did them changes. And Bathurst, it was the worst one of them all. It actually dropped to 20 frames at points and then jumped to 60. What is causing the difference? I'm presuming it is the AI. Why the AI requires so much processing power, I'm not sure, because there's games with a lot better AI. Never played iRacing, apparently that has good AI. Race Room has good AI, and Automobilista 2 has decent AI. Might not be the best, but it's a damn sight better than this. You can have a good race with it. These ones still smash into you. This is actually, it's turning out to be a bit of a rant, but I cannot see this getting any better. We'll have a look at the next racetrack and we'll see. 30 and it's back up to 42 frames. It's terribly optimised. Yes, there's an AI in front, which I don't think will be helping again. I think this is an issue, so it'll be interesting to see what does this game actually give us when we're past the AI. As he hits me, it will go to drive into me, drive straight into me, so that it's not like it's a decent AI, so it doesn't actually make sense how it uses so much. I actually wonder, now this might be a little, it might not be right, but does this AI react better on more powerful PCs? On PCs with better processors, does this AI work better? It would be interesting to actually find that out, because it could be true, because I've heard they're supposed to have improved AI so many times and I see very little improvement. Yes, it's improved since it launched, because you just couldn't race them then, but they're still not fun to race against, so it would be interesting to see what it is. We're now currently sitting up at what, 29 frames that went down to, I think. Could have even been lower actually there. It's it's not acceptable for a launched game that lists its minimum specs. Its minimum specs should be, in my eyes nowadays, especially with DLS, which I've got on DLSS, you should be able to play that on high quality DLSS 1080p at 60 frames per second. A stable 60 frames per second for it to be minimum specs. Maybe the graphics have to be down, but again, like I added, it doesn't matter if I cut the graphics down, because it's not the graphic card that's been maxed out, it's the processor. And as soon as this AI, the processor is crashing, and then on different tracks it's worse. This track is the worst one I've tried today, but the last one I tried another day was Bathurst, and again it dropped to 20 frames per second quite a lot, which is unplayable. And remember, the minimum specs surely means the game will be playable at that amount. So, as I said, this game just, in my eyes, will never get the player base to make it worthwhile them continuing. So I would say at the end of the year, if this game has not picked up considerably, unless the PlayStation and Xbox stats are completely different, but as Steam says right now, if this game has not picked up considerably, looking at the Steam player kit base, I can't see the giant bosses allowing the staff to keep working on this game. It's not going to be bringing in the money. The online player base is just going to be non-existent. And if you look at, so it's, I can't remember what it is on Steam right now, but you can buy this game on Loaded, loaded.co.uk, and they will give you a key for this game with the game, their full season pass, so all year pass, for $27.99. What they were selling for £70 on Steam can be bought for $27.99. And take this as you will, Rensport is no longer available on loaded.co.uk. I would say that means that Rensport sold out, yet this game did not, unless they just thought it was going to be a lot better seller than Rensport and they bought less keys, which could be that. Or it could be the fact this game has done so bad in sales that Loaded is practically giving this game away. So, I know if you like Project Motor Racing, which I really wanted to when it released, I was hoping this is the game that would kick this channel off, but it just has not done that. I literally can't really play it, and even when it does run okay, the handling I don't enjoy, which is weird because I'm a big Automobiles 2 fan, and I liked both Project Cars 1 and 2. I never played 3, and I don't think I ever would want to. And their games, see, I don't think sim racing has to always be about pure sim, which gave this game a future even on this engine if it could run well. Because I don't really mind the fact that you turn corners and the quickest way to get round the corner is to get the car to slide. I don't necessarily mind that, because I also sim race for fun. It doesn't have to be 100% realistic all the time. Other games can be fun. I'm not necessarily a fan of Need for Speed because I don't like arcade handling as such, but I quite liked Gran Turismo. Especially the older Gran Turismo. Who could forget Gran Turismo 2? I liked that. I liked the handling of it, and I think many people did. I loved Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo 4. I wasn't a fan of 3. 5 was decent. 6 I never got into, but that's practically because it didn't release on the PS4 for some reason, and I'd bought a PS4. But I no longer play on the PlayStation. I can't even use my wheel on the PlayStation. So, a game like Gran Turismo, which was if it was released on a PC, would have been great for me. I would have loved to play it casually, and it's just a shame that this game is so far away from being a game like Gran Turismo or even Project Cars 2. And the only hope really is for that kind is Automobilista 2 when they release the career mod, and when they release, if they release like a better online gaming mod. And for videos on Automobilista 2, check out my channel. And there's also other games like Race Room. I don't feel it gets the love it deserves over games like this. Race Room should be one of the most spoken about games, I think, in sim racing. Yes, it's it's a lot more forgiving than other sim racing. I actually think it's easier to play than Automobilista 2. God, it runs well, and it looks good to me. I don't think you need perfect graphics, and this sure as hell isn't. As long as it runs well, this sure as hell doesn't. Anyway, I'm getting my ahead of myself. If you liked the video, then please consider giving it a like. Please consider subscribing, drop me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.
That's all, folks.